Hi and welcome to part 2 of this 3-part Solidworks tutorial series for a Wooden Cottage Dolls House. You will need to have followed part 1 to continue with the tutorial. In part 2 we're going to finish the house model ready for part 3, where I will export out all the bodies, add decals or appearances ready to create an assembly of the doll's house. So let's continue. With the doll's house part open, start a new sketch onto the front of the magnet block here. I'm going to start the sketch for the large front door. Use the line to draw from the mid-panel centre under the first floor panel and go down by 259mm to the base panel. Across to the side panel. To add the door's pivot points, go down by 4mm, across by 9, then up by 267mm. Go across 9mm at the top and 4mm down to do the top pivot point, and join it up to close the profile. For the doll's front door, we're going to need to add a hole for them to go into. Use the centre line to draw guides for where to start it. Sketching from the corner along the base panel, go inwards 99.5mm and up by 7. Then take the corner rectangle and draw 180 by 97.5mm doorway. You can then extrude this by 9mm unmerged. For the other door, start another sketch again onto the magnet block and sketch from the middle again down the door panel, along the base edge by 204mm up to here, down by 4 again to add the pivot, go across by 9mm and back up by 267mm level with the other door. Add the top pivot of the door and close the profile. To add some windows to this panel, use the centre line to add a starting point guide. Go along the bottom of the door inwards by 55.5mm and up by 108.5. Then use the corner rectangle and use the guides as a starting point to draw a 60 by 24mm window. Use the linear sketch pattern again to pattern the window, using a distance of 34mm and 3 instances. You can extrude the panel by 9mm unmerging it. Now that I have both doors, hide the back panel, ready to create the door magnets. Sketch onto one of the door's inner faces and go into Cut Extrude Thin Feature in the feature tree and drop down the sketch. Select it and convert the entities. This is a really quick way of ensuring that the door magnets line up with the magnet block. Use Cut Extrude and select Thin Feature, changing the thin thickness to 0.1mm and the direction 1 to 6mm. Make sure that the selected bodies are the front doors and OK it. This leaves us with the appearance of magnets without worrying about small parts later. Bring everything back into view before moving on. I now need to add the holes for the doors to pivot in. This will allow the doors to rotate within without the need for hinges. Sketching onto the base panel, view the model from the bottom with hidden lines visible. Using the circle, hover over the door's pivot corners and find the centre point of the face like this, and draw a 13mm circle. This is just wide enough for the door to turn without being too loose. Repeat this for the other door and cut extrude the sketch by 4mm into the base panel only. Do the same for the top pivot corners of the door, sketching onto the underside of the first floor panel. Convert the entities of the last cut extrude feature and cut extrude the sketch by 4mm into the first floor panel only. Next is the doll's front door details. To hold a door in place using a pole, I need to create a door step and canopy that the pole will sit into. Sketching onto the large front door. Use the midpoint line and find the centre of the door cut out. Follow the smart guides down to the base panel edge and draw the line to 55mm and go up by 12mm and create a rectangle. Then use the midline again along the top door hole edge and draw another 55mm line. Then use the centre line to draw a 30mm line up. Use this line to turn on dynamic mirror entities. Then use the line to sketch up one side by 12mm and join it up to the point. Extrude this sketch by 15mm unmerged. To make the step slot onto the door hole, hide the back panel and sketch onto the other side of the step. Trace over the visible face of the step with the rectangle and extrude it by 9mm, merging it onto the step only. For the doll's front door, sketch onto the larger door and use the corner rectangle from the upper right corner of the cutout down to the step at 175mm by 100 and extrude it by 6mm unmerged. To add a doorknob, drawing a circle centre to the door at 15mm and extruding it by 10, merging it to the door only under selected bodies. For the door to open, I'm adding a pole down the right side of it, but first I need to make space for it, so hiding the canopy, start a sketch onto the top face of the door. You will need to view it from the top with hidden lines visible. Draw a 3mm line from the centre of the edge, and then draw a 3mm circle at the end of it. Extrude the circle through the door onto the step by 181mm. For direction 2, this should go 6mm into the canopy. Make sure that it's cut into the canopy body and then hide it again. For the pole, sketch onto the top of the door again and centre to the cut, draw a 2mm circle, extrude it by 181mm down and 6mm up, checking the unmerged box. To add a roof onto the canopy, sketch onto the large front door and draw a centre line up from the top point. Make sure that it's larger than 12mm. Select dynamic mirror entities, then the guideline. Draw a line from the top of the canopy along the canopy edge here by 65mm, then on the right angle off the line by 9mm. Then go back up along the guide, ensuring that it's parallel to the other. This should create a closed roof profile. Extrude it by 18mm unmerged. Moving on to the roof panels, sketch onto one of the side panels' inner front sloped faces. View it normal to and draw a centerline guide from the bottom corner of the side panel here to the other panel end. Then use the midpoint line and going from the centre of the guide, draw a line at 275mm. Then go up by 244, across by 550 and close it up, creating a rectangle. Use the sketch chamfer to add a 22mm chamfer to all four corners of the roof panel. Use the corner rectangle to trace around the side panel tabs, which the roof panel will slot onto. These should be 110mm by 9mm for both sides. Extrude the roof panel by 9mm unmerged. The roof panel should look like this. Using the panel, I can just mirror it across. To do this, I need to add a new plane centred to the point of the side panels. Selecting the front plane, go to plane under reference geometry and select the top middle point of the side panel here. Then go to mirror with the new plane selected. Under bodies to mirror, select the roof panel and OK it. With that done, I can move on to the roof windows. Select the inner side panel face here and add a new plane 50mm away. Sketch onto the new plane from the left side and use the centre line and draw a line along the roof edge by 65mm. Then with the line tool, draw up from the guide point by 90mm, then inwards up to the roof and close it up. Then add a tab to the sketch, which would be used to slot and glue the window box onto the roof. Use the 3-point centre rectangle and go from the centre of this line down along the roof by 30mm and out by 9mm. Trim away the inner entities of the sketch to look like this and extrude it by 9mm unmerged. To create the other side of the window box, I'm using move/copy bodies to move this body 120mm along the x-axis. To create the front, I'm going to extrude the profile from the side. Sketching onto the side of the window box. Start from the top corner of the line and go out by 9mm, vertically down to the roof edge and back along the roof here to join it up. Extrude this up to the end vertex of the other window box side, ensuring that it's unmerged. Sketching onto the front of the extrusion, draw a 35mm centre line up from the centre and use this to draw a triangle onto the top of the extrusion like this and extrude it by 9mm, merging it to the window box front only. To add the window holes, I need guides. For this, I'm using the centre line again, going from the bottom corner along the bottom by 35.5mm and up by 19.75. With the corner rectangle, I'm drawing a 60 by 24mm window from the guide point. I can then use linear sketch pattern to add a second window 34mm away. Extrude cut the windows 9mm from the front. To add a roof to the window box, start a new sketch onto the front of the window. Just like the canopy roof, draw a guideline up from the top point and make sure that it's more than 11mm. Then with the line, go along the front edge here by 80mm, then at a right angle up by 9mm, and staying parallel to the line, go up to the guide and close it up. Extrude the roof panel by 9mm in direction 1. Then for direction 2, choose up to surface and select the roof panel like this. Untick merge result before okaying the feature. Mirror the roof body over from this face so that it ends up looking like this. Now to create a hole in the roof panel behind the windows. Hide the front body and start a new sketch onto the roof panel and view from the front. Offset the inner edge of the window box side by 10mm inwards, doing one at a time. Then offset the inner roof edges here by 10mm. Drag these entities up past these lines. Join up the two bottom sketches and then offset that line by 5mm and trim away all the outer entities, leaving a closed profile. I can then cut this out of the roof panel by 9mm. To add some detail to the window roof, sketch onto the front face here and trace over the roof here and go down by 20mm, then up to the window box side, up by 10mm and then across by 129. Then do the same on this side, down by 10. Then go to the top of the roof with the line along the edge, down by 20 and close the profile. Fillet the bottom corners here by 1.5mm like this. To add some more detail here, select these three entities of the extrusion and offset them inwards, selecting reverse by 12mm. Trim away the crossed over lines and then use the line to go from the centre here to the centre of this line, then the same the other way. Offset the two lines bidirectional by 3mm. I need these lines to pass over the outer edge, but if I just drag them my sketch moves. To stop it from moving, I'm fixing the bottom line here. Now I can just drag these lines over the edge. I use trim entities to trim away the in-between entities to leave myself with 3 inner triangles. Use sketch fillet to soften all the corners by 1.5mm and extrude the sketch by 4mm unmerged. Using the right plane, I can just mirror over all the window bodies. Select all the window box bodies and OK it. Before I mirror over the cutout in the roof too, I'm going to cut out the slot holes for the window boxes. Hide in the back roof panel, start a new sketch onto the inner roof panel here, and turn on hidden lines visible. Selecting the slot face hoops here, holding Control, select all 4 and convert entities. Cut extrude the sketch by 9mm out of the roof panel only. Unhide the back panel. Select the right plane again and the mirror feature. This time under Features to Mirror, select the Roof Cut Extrude from the Features tree like this and OK it. Finally, to add the chimney, select onto the inner left side panel, look from the left, use the line and sketch through the middle of the roof panel, up by 28mm and out by 38mm, back down to the centre of the roof, and close the profile up like this. Extrude the sketch by 38mm unmerged. Then sketch onto the side face of the chimney, convert its entities, and cut extrude this from the roof panel only to create a space for it to be glued onto. Next, sketch onto the top of the chimney and offset the face outwards by 5mm. Extrude this by 9mm, merging it to the chimney. To create the chimney hole, sketch onto the top face of this and offset it inwards by 12mm. And cut extrude it by 25mm to look like this. And there we have the finished doll's house as a part. Watch out for part 3 of the tutorial where I will show you how to export all the parts for creating an assembly, to make it easier to open and close the doors of the doll's house more freely. I will also upload the decals for downloading and adding them to your model. Thanks for watching this tutorial.